हाँ जी, तो सिचुएशन कुछ ऐसी है, हम जा रहे हैं अब्रॉड गाड़ी लेके बिना पासपोर्ट के।
Alright, before we start, there is something I want to admit. This trip was just a family trip to meet our relatives across the border in Nepal. Little did we know that in just 4 days, we will gather memories of a lifetime. To be honest, I did not foresee this adventure coming our way. Every bit of this trip was full of surprises, and all the more interesting because a lot of these places that might never ever be on your bucket list. So not all of you might know, the closest entry into Nepal from Delhi is through Rudrapur and Khatima, which is only 300 kilometers from Delhi. In fact, you could easily make it part of your itinerary if you were planning to visit Nainital. If you don't believe me, look at this map. So having said that, our trip was pretty much limited to southwestern corner of Nepal. But we did see the unexplored and non-touristy side of this beautiful country. So day 1, we drove from Delhi to Banbasa border. With a few breaks on the highway took us around 8 hours, and the drive to this border is mesmerizing.
सो ये जो जगह आप देख रहे हो, ये एक्चुअली में इंडिया और नेपाल बॉर्डर है, और यहाँ पे आपको अपने डॉक्यूमेंट्स दिखाने होते हैं, और उन डॉक्यूमेंट्स को दिखाने के बाद आप इस ब्रिज से होते हुए नेपाल में एंटर हो जाते हो into Bhimdatta district.
The bridge is almost 100 years old, so there are batches of car movement, so sometimes you might have to wait for the next batch to open. Meanwhile, you could enjoy the beauty of this heritage architecture. Right after crossing the bridge, all cars get checked and some custom regulations need to be filed.
यहाँ पे कुछ formalities होती हैं for any Indian car coming into Nepal. Your luggage gets checked and basic stuff. So we are doing that, और इसके बाद we would be allowed to have free access across Nepal.
Like told you in the start of this video, this trip was actually a visit to our close relatives. So welcome to our beloved Mausi's home in Nepal. Her home is an experience in itself, and it's totally worth a quick tour.
सोलह 17 आम के पेड़ है और 5-6 लीची के पेड़ है। ये अपना सब्जी, अभी जो आप खाएंगे धनिया वनिया सब यहाँ का है ना। अब थोड़े दिनों के बाद आलू टमाटर सब मेरे को कुछ नहीं बाहर से लाना पड़ता।
Now we had rest of the day free with us, so all of us decided to grab motorbikes and do a road trip to a famous Linga temple around an hour away from Mausi's home. This area is extremely serene and peaceful, so are the locals. Riding a bike during this journey was probably the best way to experience the beautiful surroundings. There is hardly any information about the inception of this temple in this particular region, but what really amuses you are the rock formations right beside the temple. I did not see this coming, and I had never ever seen something like this before in my life. More I looked at these rocks, more fascinated I was to know about them. As per localites, these rocks change colors every few years. There is limited information about these rocks. If you know about them, do share it in the comments box. Just before we could get enough glance of this place, it started to rain. And that's where the fun side sort of took a backseat.
तो साल में पहली बार बाइक चलाने का मन था और यहाँ हो गई है बहुत तगड़ी बारिश और एक ही शेल्टर के अंदर अब गए हैं सब हम फंस।
As soon the rain stopped for a bit, we headed straight back home.
वाइल्ड लाइफ वाले रंगों के कपड़े पहन के हम हो गए हैं तैयार। नाउ वी हेडिंग टू द सैंक्चुरी।
Bhimdatta to Bardia National Park is approximately 3 hours with 1 or 2 breaks on the way. On the way, there is a beautiful single tower cable bridge called Karnali Bridge in the village called Chisapani. यहाँ हर कोई ब्रेक लेके फोटोज क्लिक ज़रूर करता है। इस ब्रिज पे अच्छे शॉट्स के लिए लोग किसी भी लेवल तक जा सकते हैं। अब इन डॉक्टर साहब को ही देख लो। So this is a very strict wildlife conserved area and 40 km/h is the top speed limit. On breaking rules here or harming any animal on the route can cause jail time. There are multiple military checkposts on the way, so it's always best to keep all your documents handy all the time. On arrival, we checked into the Sanctuaries resort. They are the ones who actually organize the pickups and safari trips, etc. So it's best to be staying here than anywhere else. We immediately hopped into the jeeps and now it was time to drive into the wild.